Who was the first person to smoke? And what was going through their head? Picture this. Thousands of years ago, a random plant catches fire. Everyone else is backing away from the smoke. But then one guy walks forward and says, "You know what? I'm going to breathe that in." And somehow, that idea spread to billions of people. Was he a genius? Was he completely crazy? Or was it all just one giant accident? Nobody actually knows. To understand how smoking began, we have to travel back over 5,000 years. Back then, there were no cities, no schools, no doctors, just people trying to survive. Fire was everything. It kept them warm, cooked their food, and scared away dangerous animals. Around those campfires grew thousands of wild plants. One of them was tobacco. At the time, it looked completely ordinary. Nobody knew it contained nicotine. Nobody knew it would eventually become one of the most famous plants in history. So, who actually smoked it first? Here's the surprising part. We have absolutely no idea. There isn't a single name in history. No cave painting saying, "Steve was here, and this was a terrible idea." But archaeologists have a pretty good theory. Imagine someone throwing dry branches onto a fire. Mixed in with those branches are dried tobacco leaves. They begin to burn. A strange smell fills the air. Instead of running away, someone gets curious. They lean closer, take a deep breath, and, they feel different. Nicotine reaches the brain in seconds. It can make people feel relaxed, alert, or simply curious enough to try it again. And just like that, a habit may have been born. But here's something most people don't know. The first people who used tobacco weren't smoking for fun. Across the Americas, many indigenous communities considered tobacco a sacred plant. They carved pipes from wood and stone, rolled dried leaves, burned tobacco during ceremonies. Some believed the smoke carried prayers to the sky. Others used it during peace agreements, healing rituals, or important community gatherings. For thousands of years, smoking wasn't an everyday habit. It was something special. Fast forward to 1492. Christopher Columbus arrives in the Americas. His crew notices something unusual. Local people are holding burning rolls of dried leaves and breathing in the smoke. The Europeans had never seen anything like it. Naturally, they got curious. Before long, tobacco was loaded onto ships and carried across the Atlantic. What started in the Americas was about to reach the rest of the world. When tobacco reached Europe, people thought it was medicine. Tobacco spread across Europe, Africa, Asia, and eventually almost everywhere. Pipes became popular, then cigars. Then, in the late 1800s, factories began producing cigarettes by the millions. One curious moment had turned into a worldwide industry. So, who was the first person to smoke? We'll probably never know. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was someone who simply wanted to see what would happen. Whatever the reason, that single breath may have changed history forever. But here's an even better question. What thing do we do today that people 5,000 years from now will look back at and say, "Wait, who was the first person crazy enough to try that?" Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to follow for more stories behind the world's biggest mysteries.